Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Today's episode is a very interesting episode in the sense that this title has been in my mind for a while, that I've wanted to give this talk called One Man's Vision. Today, indirectly, when I wrote the main title and I came to write the subtitle, the term One Man's Vision came. So I made that the title, and the subtitle became, used to be the title. I've written One Man's Vision, and I've also written an internally cinematic approach to understanding anything quickly, or understanding everything quickly. In this episode, my aim is not to talk about the truths of reality, but rather to share this skill I have. I want to teach, I want to explain to the best of my ability to the viewers how I understand things quickly. I want to teach this. I want to tell you how I'm doing it. All right. Let me see how I can start this. So first of all, something for the listeners to know about who they're listening to. First of all, you're listening to someone who started out as a science fiction writer. I mean, and I am also Muslim. But my relationship with religion, it was after this year. It's recent that I have a completely different approach to the Constitution, of reality to its administration system. And so I'm a human being now. When I'm telling you I'm a Muslim sci-fi writer, I'm pretty much someone fascinated by the future, but also fascinated that we're inside an existential system and there is a system admin. And so the administration of what goes on in not just our lives, but in the world, in some sense, is a responsibility for a higher position of being. We human beings have the notion of free will. We have this idea that we must live our own lives, but our own lives are not our own lives. When we actually look at existence and what's going on, we discover that it is a massive event, and we find ourselves a part of this event. Okay, and it's as if we are changing faster than our environment, therefore feeling that we are living in that environment, feeling that we're an individual in that environment. This is the reason for individualization. You got to just look at it, and you know what's cool? I'm going to explain to you how I'm reaching these conclusions, because when I started schooling here, I'll just dive into it. When I went to school, and when I was a kid growing up, my relationship with understanding the world was very different. First of all, I'm a twin, and out of twins, there's always the quiet twin. I was the quiet twin. I was pretty much the shy, introverted kid. Okay, and I was so shy and introverted that later on, years later, it took me a long time, I realized that the reason I was shy and introverted was because something had happened that had made me, one, not trust others and the world, and two, not trust how I am around others and the world. And usually, it's kind of funny. It's like there's like fast people and slow people. Sometimes you're slow at the beginning, but you end up becoming the fastest. I don't want to give you the impression I had bad grades. I didn't. I wasn't always an above 85 kid. But anyways, I want to explain to you, and in some sense give you the testimonial of a human being that is using a cinematic approach to understanding reality, and in my explanations I am trying to convey this to you. So a part of the talk has to go to one man's vision. Now the funny thing is, I as a man in this world, I have multiple visions. You might not believe, it's hilarious. Starting from anything, I can take anything around me in the current present moment, any form, any object. You can give me a pen and you could be like, what's the future of this pen? And my inner realms cinematically can show me this. The future of pens they're just going to become our fingertips. So, when I say one man's vision, I want to draw concentric circles around this statement. Why? Because one man's vision is the question of what does a human being in a world see. Something the viewers don't know about me is that how do I explain this to you? I have pretty much cultivated the ability to solve problems. In looking at a problem, you look at the design of the problem. In looking at the design of the problem, you access the context where that problem has come into existence. Sometimes reverse engineering something makes you understand how it was engineered. Anyways, when I'm saying one man's vision, we're looking at a human being. We're looking at the levels of perception of this human being. Okay? So one level of perception is physical content. Everybody right now, by existing, you are a physical content creator. You know, even if you scratch your head or scratch your back or something and there's nobody there, you're technically still creating existential content by being a moving aspect of existence. When we go to the other level, so pretty much we have a human being on a planet, and us right now are trying to brainstorm, okay, what does a human being on a planet see? Right, I'm starting from the general, and then I'm trying to go towards the specificity of my own vision. Okay, but it's important to acknowledge the general first, whether in battle or not. So we have a human being. The human being has a physical membership in existence. Okay, and when you wake up in the morning, you log into your physical existence. It's equivalent to like a gym membership. Okay, you have the gym card, you go into the gym. That's it. You're a member of that facility. Okay, you are a member of, you have an existential membership. Okay, so you're a member of existence. You're a part of it. So there was physical perception, physical content, which turns into objective, which is objective perception. Now, what's important about the word perception, I guess I got to clear this up too. I want you to realize the way I explain it is simply like this, that every human being you see, including me, every human being you see has an inner life and has an outer life. Now, in order to have a life, you need a world. So technically, there was the necessity to create the term inner realms. So, in realizing that human beings, like when you take a human being to see an artwork, you know, some people look at that artwork and they're like, what's this piece of shit on the wall? And some people are like, you know, excuse me, I could have worded that better. Some people go into a museum and they look at an artwork and they're like, which ape threw feces at the wall, right? And then there's some people who go and they see that same artwork and they cry. They cry as if, you know, they've heard that unheard of note from Beethoven's symphony, you know, for the first time. Behind your eyes, you have access to perception. We are raised in our programmed perception, yet there are many perspectives to any moment. Any person you have known, you have considered them good or bad, there are many angles to them. Evil is when a bad perspective is accepted. So we have a human being. The human being has a body, has a mind, and has a sort of intelligence that can notice objects and subjects moving and even decide between subjects. We call that awareness, the soul. Okay, 3 concentric circles. Now, the body being inside. Now, when we ask, as I have explained so far, the body gives you access to objective perception and perspectives. Okay? The mind gives you subjective meaning. Okay? And this subjective meaning also is in the sense of perceptions and perspectives. I'll give you an example. So right now I'm inside a car, I'm sitting in the driver's seat. If I go sit on in the passenger seat, I will have a different objective perspective. Now, if right now I'm in the car and I'm sitting in this car, if I close my eyes, or whether eyes open or closed, and I visualize this same car hovering 100 meters in the air, that's a subjective perspective. It's not shifting the reality. A part of you has access to see things that don't necessarily change the physical, but they change your approach to the physical. So what does this mean? The human being has its foot between, it's like 1 foot in the door and 1 foot outside. We have 1 foot in a world of objective perspectives, and we have the other foot in a world of subjective perspectives. Now, the interesting thing is that our mind, our inner realms, simulate way quickly and change quicker than our outer realms. What does that mean? Our body is technically shape-shifting, but it's shape-shifting so slowly that we don't realize it. Okay, but our mind shape shifts way more quickly, and the reason the mind has this development, at least from a secular perspective, it's the evolutionary need to serve, to protect the body. What that means is our ancestors had to deal with natural situations in nature where they had to wonder, was there another way? Okay? So you have access to objective views, you have access to subjective views. The subjective views change quicker than the objective views. The subjective views are even more fascinating, your mind, because when you go to sleep, you vanish. So the mind doesn't have a fear of death. The mind has a fear of not being in control of a body. That's the fear. The mind, it vanishes every night. We don't get scared when we sleep. We're like, we need a good night's rest, right? But when it comes to actually looking at the psychology of humanity, and the psychological dimension is where the meaning is. Do you understand what's going on? It's like you have a constant body from the beginning of the day you wake up, right? In 24 hours, you have one physical body existing, but your psychological experience of your physiological experience is not as continuous as the body. If you were religious, you would probably have this view that the soul, if I remember correctly, the soul can leave, in an Islamic context, the soul can leave the body in 3 moments. Hopefully I can remember all three. One is death, one is sleep. There's death, there's sleep. I believe there's one more. I don't remember it. I was thinking for, I don't know why, the end of days, but anyways, there's three I know. The soul is a different life. That means the life that you live as an object and subject is very different to the life of a soul. The body is level 1. The mind is level 2. The soul is level 3. But when you get to level 3, you're not just an entity based on level 1 and 2. You're in relationship with a higher power. The soul is, your body and mind are here to give you, to simulate for you a sense of individualism. Your soul is, first of all, the secret of God, but also I would like to say the soul is when you realize human beings are not alone on this planet. They were never alone. It was our limited perception that made us feel we are the most advanced, and there is in actuality a higher power, a transcendental agency in this world. Now, should you go and give this transcendental agency a mask, do you need a formed terminal or for this power? The answer is no. The answer is humanity, our species in level 3. In the species in level 1 is physically continue and don't kill each other. The species in level 2 is use your abilities while you have them. Okay? And serve your existence. Serve your species. Why are you in a world? Why are you wearing the human suit uniform? You are already dressed in the uniform of your species. You are just not acting as if it is your species. You're not acting like every person you have seen, good or evil, angelic or a piece of shit, whatever kind of person you see, they are still your species. It doesn't matter if my worst enemies and the most evil people on this planet were being invaded by extraterrestrials. Let's say like evil extraterrestrials came and started destroying the evil people on the planet. Okay? A part of me might go ethically like, yeah, they're getting what they deserve. But a part of me would be like, how dare something that is not human, in some sense, enter human territory without diplomacy? So what that means is I don't care if the most advanced evil aliens attack the most evil people on Earth. Still, my humanism will come out like a roaring lion. Like, how dare you interfere? We already have a system admin. So what I'm trying to say is that your personalities don't really matter. They matter to you, and they might matter to the people around you. But in the long term, pretty much the one man's vision is pretty much a human being born and being like, all right, I need a short-term strategy for 100 years, and I need to also serve the long-term strategy, which means after I die, what will happen to all of us? What was the point of my existence if it was not to serve the truth of this world? But what is that service? You see, there is a foolishness going on because religion is parallel to humanism. Is it not weird that we're all oblivious of the collective strength and possibilities of our species? Have you ever wondered about this? Most people in their life, they're like, man, I just want to get married, have kids, have a comfortable life, and nobody disturb me and nobody bother me, and that's it. That's fucking it. We are not raising the future generations with a sense that they must serve their world. This is a effed up thing to say, but 8 billion organisms are treating this planet, excuse me, but like a public lavatory. Human beings are an opportunity for a unique occurrence in the world. My understanding is, my vision is, my body will go through a sequence of actions in this 100 years of life. If these actions do not provide more than a service to myself, I have failed myself. You see, you sometimes fail the future by ignoring what you must do now. one man's vision. A human being opened his eyes in 1991 and after 32 laps around the sun came to the conclusion that we're not just organisms on a rock in the middle of spinning in the middle of nowhere. We're not just an evolutionary species, but we are in some sense burdened with an ultimate task. The human species is the most advanced life form on planet Earth. What we think is planet Earth is the massive storytelling project of everybody that has lived so far. All human beings that are alive now. One man's vision may it be a spark that in some sense brings the great light of the future dawn. Every day that I wake up, I have a relationship with my own mind that surpasses physical objective relationships. What that means is I am not to myself only an object, and I am not to myself only a subject. I am in some sense the expression of a power. When I went to look for the origin of this power, it occurred to me that the origin of the power is beyond this world. This planet is a film set. You are an actor, but you are method acting because you were born here. And in this method acting, there may come a time on your as you're on the film set, and while everything's being recorded, that you suddenly realize you are not the character that you are playing. You may suddenly feel you are not living your life. You may suddenly feel that this body and this mind and the meanings and everything you have continued so far is in some sense, and that which is not you, what the real you is that which has been observing it happen. What you really are is a presence. For the humanized receivable mind, this presence is energy. Energy secularly cannot be created or destroyed. If it cannot be created or destroyed, it is not worldly. What we are notified in religion is the realization that the cause of existence was uncaused, that the uncaused caused causality. And causality was the simulation, and we are being an effect inside. We are inside the simulated world. We are not inside the original world. You as a being are being tested. You are being tested if you realize the original energy, the original power, compared to the simulated energy, compared to the simulated power. But the test is so deep that you're being tested on whether you realize you are simulated or not. And you will realize that we cannot know the unknown variables, the unknown factors, the limitations of up to level 1 and 2 of this world. The mind provides an ability to step into a different domain. There was this show, and of course, guys, keep in mind, all praise due to the Lord of the Worlds. I'm a member in the system. I'm not even a moderator. And the moderators are even simulated. You have the only rope to escape out of this simulation is to go towards the system admin, to go towards the original power. That original power is intelligent. Its intelligence is required to open the door for you. Earth is not a one-man show. Your life, you can choose to live a one-man life, solo it out. But I am telling you, we are not here to explore and index the whole cosmos. We are not here to explore who we are, to find the deepest sense of self and all of that. We are here to realize that it is performance oriented. We are here to perform. 8 billion souls, in making a mistake, were in some sense sent to a workstation. Their work is their redemption. Your efforts in this lifetime is your redemption. The Stoics understood this, at least. They did not have a deep sense of God, but they understood that there was a deeply rooted intelligence in this world. To connect to the original power is to enter the original world. What that means is not only I am fake, not only you are fake, not only the world is fake, but we are faking it until the original. We must play our part. Do not fear your lifetime. Do not fear your work. Smile as you do it. At least you'll have a personal victory. One man's vision went further. One man's vision reached milestones of simulated conclusions that vanished in the realization that there were higher levels to life. Your mind right now, whoever you are, deep down, I know you know this, just like everybody does. You are a level of a being. You are a perception of a being. I can see a car, but what that car means is not physical. The meaning of life is not physical. If they make you think you are just physical, they are in some sense eliminating your meaning. How dare they? All I can say is that humanity has an advanced potential. You as a being here have an advanced potential. Every day that you live your life, I hope, deep down, I hope every person on this earth, every day you live your life, your mind gives you a cinematic sense that your future self that could be doing something way more advanced in that same situation is watching you. Do you not see the armies of the future watching you? There are generals, okay, that they stand on a battlefield, physical battlefield, and they have physical armies. And then there are beings that are acquainted with the management of eternal positions of being. An army of bodies is different in management than an army of minds. And an army of minds is different in management to an army of souls. The best that can be done is that in some sense to take one step out of your mind and to see your life as if you are that stranger that will help you. There are so many ways you could be understanding the same moment that you don't know. Right now, I'm not standing in a place where there's a singularized meaning. I'm standing in an art gallery. And I ask myself, who created the artwork? And the artworks are saying, I created myself. I'm my own God. Sit down. What do you mean you're your own God? It's a paradox. If you're God, you don't exist. If there is no God, there is no origin. Doesn't exist. You don't exist. It is the great force of our species. If you believe in the Creator, it is not just individual souls being tested. It is what these souls do together that is also being tested. You are all members of Spaceship Earth, as Buckminster Fuller and Marshall McLuhan said. So in these three levels, the stories are different. In level 1, objects appeared. In level 2, meaning is not physical. In level 3, you are not in charge. Up to level 2, act as egotistical and narcissistic as you want, fellow human being. But after you reach level 3, after you have seen your body and mind loop for some time on this earth, you will realize that the system admin's acknowledgement is required. I no longer believe we are in a world where there is karma and there is lucky and unlucky people. I don't believe in this anymore. I don't even believe we're in a world where there's hard work gets you result. I believe that we're inside a system. There is an admin. It is the admin's will. The greatest thing that members can do in a system is to comprehend the nature of the system. And when they comprehend the nature of the system, they are limited because the members don't have the authorization of the system admin, and the moderators don't even have the authorization of the system admin. What that means is humanity is the back army. Or sorry, I shouldn't say back army. We're like in the front lines. We're like the soldiers on the battlefield. And some of these soldiers can become lieutenants. But in some sense, think of it this way. Us as regular human beings, we're soldiers. The prophets were, in some sense, lieutenants. The angels are like generals. They control zones. And God is the emperor that wears the world as a crown, but it is not formed or touchable by the humanized attempt. We cannot understand our creator, but we can appreciate how we have been created. We can appreciate how existence has been designed. We can appreciate that we were not created here alone. When there are human beings around and you feel lonely, that's a choice. And I do understand the feeling in youth of being entrapped by not knowing how to act. But believe it or not, kids of the younger generation, it doesn't matter. What matters is to be your unique self. The world has too many clones in it. Okay, there are too many clones, and there's a massive cloning project, as if you don't act like a clone, they don't accept you. So we're in a world where there's a massive cultural programming and cloning project going on, and the reason we know this is because people are behaving similarly. Not just because they're going in similar situations, but their behaviors. It's as if there's a cap, there's a limitation to it. All right, guys, I gotta answer this real quick. Actually, let me finish this and answer after. This call's gonna be like an hour conversation. Anyways. To rise beyond the limitations of objects and subjects. These lectures are heading towards a point where the focus is not for you to become, I mean, these are level 1, right? So level 1, all right, guys, I gotta wrap this up. Level 1, the task is to be healthy. The recommendation is be a minimalist when it comes to the cultural program. Some desires we're programmed with are not smart. You got to think critically, think anew. You got to start from scratch and process everything again. The body, health, the mind, vision, service, to do something more than just what it was while it was here, to serve more than itself. Trust me, you won't feel alive otherwise. Why do you think I'm saying the human species has been stripped of its honor? It's like not only did they take our swords and shields away, they told us we're not warriors anymore. And we believed. We are advanced beings. We have been ushered into the era of advanced communication, but this advanced communication is being administered by divine decree. I consider legit this world is starting to feel like a company to me, and I'm starting to feel like those people who go towards God are in some sense are trying to contact, are more in the know in regards to being closer to the owner of reality. At first I thought it's something you understand and you unlock and you just level up, but I don't think it's like that anymore. I think that what really it is that you need to intelligently interact. You have to be conscious of this. You have to be conscious that there is a transcendental divine agency going on. And if you recollect and go back into your memories since you were a kid or not, I am sure you will find moments where situations happened in ways that shouldn't have happened. People randomly came, somebody came and opened the door. Do you know what I mean? As if a coordination, as if you are being accounted for, but you don't understand you're being accounted for by that which is not in your account, not in your accountability, not in your perception. You're not alone. There is an administration, there's management. If one situation has a mistake, suddenly higher levels come to assist. Now, what do we do with the idea as a religious person that there is the devil, that there is evil, good and evil? My understanding is this. If you don't go to the system admin, the one and only, that which is beyond the world, beyond the form of the world, any form in the world. That means don't worship me, don't worship yourself, don't worship others, don't worship the world, don't worship a form. Put your attention on the mighty presence. I'm telling you, when I pray, it feels like I am in the presence of the Almighty. It does not feel like I'm talking, I'm contacting. Do you understand? It feels like, okay, I was worthy enough to be in this presence. And it's always through a feeling of like I'm tearing up, and there's this sense of like, forgive me for what I did which I knew was wrong, and what I did which I didn't know was wrong. This is a specific prayer. And above all, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, guide me to the straight path, oh God. The world will acknowledge a system admin. The secular audiences will too, because it's unavoidable. The transcendental agency is here. We're in a simulated world. Again, I'm emphasizing this. You're required to contact original energy and original power. Even me talking right now, I'm just pointing to the original. I am not original. We all have a soul where we have this notion that a part of us is original, like in some sense knows the original, remembers the original. But if you accept the simulation, it's your simulated result. It's like, do you want to hug a real person or do you want to hug a hologram? And when you hug a hologram, you're hugging yourself. Once you give into your desires of the worldly, you're just accessing your soul. If you realize there is a higher power and this higher power awaits our acknowledgement, you will be fascinated. And it's not like an overlord scenario. That's still a form. That's in the world. What is being said that God is the Lord of all. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. God is beyond its creation. The artist is not the artwork. Us thinking the artwork is the artist is an error. Anyways, thank you for listening. To be honest, just to wrap it up, one man's vision came to the conclusion at first up to 2023 that it's the advancement of civilization. I found no there. I still believe that's the greatest logical argument on this planet. There's nothing greater we can do, and advancing civilization will redeem your sense of self in ways you cannot even imagine. But above all, in 2024, what I realize is before we build the advanced civilization, we require an advanced power source. That means we want to build an advanced civilization with original power, from an original power source, not from simulated power. Therefore, all the advanced beings, all the advanced communicators alive now, souls, must in some sense try to first acknowledge the system admin and acknowledge the advanced power. It's like you've gone and you're working in a company, but you're not acknowledging the boss. You're acting like the boss doesn't exist, but the boss is right there. Do you understand? That's the only difference I would say between a secular and a religious person. You're working at a store, you're just not acknowledging the management and the owner of the store. You're just saying, no man, I'm an employee, I can do whatever I like. You know, I'm the boss. That's arrogance, right? So be conscious, humanity. We're not just evolutionary creatures on a planet storytelling whatever we want. We are here to, in some sense, notice and have advanced, in some sense, to increase the species' intelligent interaction levels. What that means is it's about the most advanced intelligent interaction you can have in this world. It's not about accumulation of objects and subjects. And I hope what I have said suffices. And I will say again and again, because this is the only key to the door of this world. Contact the system admin. For products, they say for any problems, contact the manufacturer. To contact the manufacturer is to go as a simulated being in the presence of an almighty original power. Its original presence will, in some sense, like light dispelling darkness, make you instantly realize in how you thought you were an object and subject was limited. Rise, mankind. Rise in the sight of the one and only. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent and most merciful. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. The smile of the species upon the fascination of working with the origin, walking towards the original. That is our hidden victory, which, God willing, will become unhidden. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for listening. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds.